You are born in the winter of 1608 in a small village near Bristol, England. Your home is an old wooden shack with a thatched roof. When the wind blows from the sea, the walls creak as if the house is about to fall apart. Your father is a fisherman. His hands are always cut by ropes and the cold water. Your mother says the sea either feeds the family or takes it away. At night, you often wake up from the storm. The wind roars over the roof, and the waves crash against the rocks. Then your father looks into the darkness and speaks quietly. Somewhere beyond this ocean, there is another world. You are still too young to understand, but those words will stay with you for the rest of your life. You are 8 years old. You are already working alongside your father. Your day begins before dawn, carrying buckets of water, helping to haul in heavy nets, gutting fish on the cold stone. Your hands constantly smell of the sea and salt. Sometimes you run away to the port in Bristol. There stand great ships, larger than any building you have ever seen. Sailors tell strange stories of forests where trees are taller than churches, of rivers that no one can cross, and of a colony called Jamestown. Some say you can get your own land there, and for the first time in your life you think, maybe, I won't spend my whole life in this village. You are 16 years old, and life is getting even harder. One year, a storm destroys many fishing boats. Father returns home with almost no catch. There is hardly any money. One day, a large ship arrives in the port. It is the Mayflower. A crowd of people stands on the quay. Someone says the ship is sailing to the New World. The captain is looking for young men willing to work in the colony. The journey can take 2 months across the ocean. Many do not survive the trip. You look at your home, at the sea, at your father, who has fought for a crust of bread all his life. And then you realize, if you stay, your life will be exactly the same. That evening, you tell your parents you are going. A few days later, you stand on the deck of the Mayflower. The shores of England slowly disappear into the mist. You look ahead. Before you is an ocean you have never seen, and a life that no one has lived yet. Your life as one of the first colonists in America. The journey begins calmly. The first days on the Mayflower seem almost like an adventure. You help the sailors, hauling ropes, scrubbing the deck, carrying barrels of water. But after a few weeks, the ocean changes. A storm begins. Waves hit the side of the ship so hard it feels like the timber is about to crack. People fall, belongings fly across the cabin. Some pray, some scream. One passenger falls from the ladder and never gets up again. Diseases begin to spread. The air below deck is heavy and foul-smelling. Many people lie there, too weak to stand. One morning you go out on deck and see nothing but the endless ocean. You realize, even if the ship breaks apart, there will be no help here. Several weeks have passed at sea on the Mayflower. Life on board is becoming increasingly difficult. There is almost no space. The air below deck is heavy and damp. It is here that you meet a lad about your age. He also left home in England, dreaming of starting a new life. You often sit together on the deck and look at the ocean. He says he wants to get his own land and build a large house. But one morning, you notice he isn't on deck. He is lying below deck, very weak. The illness that began to spread among the passengers has reached him too. A few days later, he dies. That evening, the crew gathers the people on deck. The body is wrapped in cloth. The captain reads a short prayer, and the body falls into the cold ocean. You watch as the waves quickly swallow him up. And for the first time, you truly understand. This journey could end for anyone, at any moment. Many weeks later, a sailor shouts, "Land!" A shore appears on the horizon. These are the cold lands near Cape Cod. You step onto the soil of New England for the first time. All around are thick forests. The wind is colder than you expected. The colonists begin to build a settlement. This place will become known as Plymouth Colony. But they arrive too late. Soon, winter comes. Food is scarce. Many people are already weakened after the journey. Diseases begin to take lives. Sometimes several people die in a single night. By spring, half of the colonists no longer wake up. You help dig graves in the frozen ground, and you realize America is not the promised paradise. It is a place where you must fight for every day of your life. Spring finally arrives. The snow melts. The forests come to life. One day, people from the local tribes come to the settlement. One of them knows a bit of English. It is Squanto. He shows the colonists how to survive, how to plant maize, how to catch fish in the rivers, how to find edible plants. Thanks to this, a harvest finally appears. You work every day, chopping down trees, building houses, tilling the land. Your hands become rough from labor. But for the first time in your life, you feel something new. This land can become yours. What started as a desperate journey across the ocean is slowly turning into a new life. One summer, you begin to feel a strange weakness. At first, it seems like just exhaustion after working in the field. But by the next day, you are struck by a high fever. You can barely get out of bed. Your head spins, your hands shake. Even a few steps across the hut feel arduous. You lie there for several days, staring at the ceiling, thinking of one thing. You survived the storm in the Atlantic. You survived the first winter in Plymouth Colony. But you could die from a simple illness. After a week, the fever finally breaks. When you first step outside again, the world seems different. You realize how fragile life is. Several years have passed since the first winter. The Plymouth Colony settlement no longer looks like a temporary camp. Now you have your own plot of land. You build your first real house, chopping trees in the forest, hand-hewing the logs, making a roof from planks. It takes almost an entire year of work. Your day looks something like this. Dawn, work in the field day, building or hunting evening, repairing tools by the fire. Your hands are covered in scars. But when you look at your little house in the middle of the wild forest, you think, I built this myself. One autumn morning, you go into the forest to hunt. Your family needs food supplies, so you take your musket and set off alone. The forest is quiet. Only the wind in the branches can be heard. After a few hours, you notice movement between the trees. At first, you think it's a deer, but then you see people. Several warriors from one of the local tribes. You realize you have ended up in foreign territory. Your heart begins to beat faster. You slowly back away between the trees, trying not to make any sudden movements. Those few minutes feel like an eternity. Fortunately, they do not notice you. When you finally return home, your hands are still shaking slightly. That day you realize, in this land, even an ordinary hunt can cost you your life. A few years later, you are no longer living alone. In the colony, you meet a girl who also came from England. You get married. Your life is simple but hard. Together you plant maize, grow vegetables, keep a few chickens. After some time, your first child is born. Now your days are even longer. You work even harder because now you are responsible for more than just yourself. Sometimes at night you sit by the fire and think about your childhood near Bristol. But your child will never see that place. For them, America is home. One cold winter night, a strange sound wakes you. There is a strong wind outside, but you hear something else. Footsteps. You get up quietly, take your musket, and go to the door. In the darkness, movement is visible near the food store. Someone is trying to take something. You go outside and shout. A shadow quickly flees into the darkness of the forest. You never find out who it was, a hungry colonist or someone else. But that night, you sit by the door for a long time with the musket in your hands. Because now you have something you didn't have before, a family to protect. Decades pass. The forests that once seemed endless have now partly turned into fields. The Plymouth Colony settlement has become a large town. You are old now. Your children have grown up and have their own farms. Sometimes you sit by your house and look at the road where the first colonists once arrived. You remember the terrifying storm in the ocean, the cold first winter, the years of hard work, and that day when the Mayflower left the shores of England. Back then, you were just a poor lad looking for a chance at a new life. Now, before you stands a farm, a house, and a family, and you realize it all started with one decision: to board a ship and sail into the unknown.